So I'm just going to do a little bit of plasma burn documentation here for research purposes, potentially in the future when we have an idea of what it is we're looking at. But you notice the black spots in the soil? At each one of these points where there's a black spot, you'll notice that's where the roots go deeper in the ground. And it actually scorches the soil where it's blackened. I'm gonna go over here and see some more plasma burn stuff that I noticed too. But this is the fractal pattern that I refer to in the Lichtenberg burning technique, where they apply electricity to wood and it burns it in fractal patterns. Now this doesn't have the fractal pattern, but you can see how some spots of the ground are clearly scorched. This right here has roots down in the ground that go this far around it. So it literally burns the ground with the electricity that the root draws. Anywhere else you can find this one here. Roots, this is where the branches were of the tree. That's where the roots underground are. Likewise with every one of these black patches. Here's where it was. That's just grass. It doesn't go deep enough to draw the electricity. And someone wanted me to scratch the soil to see how far down it's burned, and there you go. But it literally blackens the top layer of soil. This one, and that one, and maybe that one are the epicenter of roots, and maybe that one, that made this whole black circle black. And then there's a slight break, and over here there's more roots underground. So you can see it didn't just burn the top surface of foliage, it scorched the ground in ways that fire doesn't do. And fire would have scorched the ground evenly if it was just fire. But we know that it's not. So this is just documentation. So this big old root stuck in the ground here is why it's black here. They say the branches upward on a tree resemble the roots that go down. There's approximately the same width, height, and depth of roots going down as there are branches coming up. So the branches on this thing were about that big around, but it's the roots underground that draw the electricity and scorch the soil in the way that we're seeing here. This one and this one connect to a giant root under there, or a bigger root, whatever. And on it goes. And that's why the black patches are intermittent. You can see this one, there's the root. There's the black patch around it. Likewise here, there's another small root there, but it missed right here. There's the big root, and there might be a couple others.
Head west toward I-84 west.
Here's the other piece of it. Big root here. Big root here. Where was the big one? Right there to right there. Those are the major roots that caught fire under here. See what I'm saying? There's that one that produced that. There's one in the middle of this. So I'll try not to be too redundant. Someone commented in the comment section, said, "It's aggravating that you keep showing the same thing over and over." I agree. It's aggravating that I'm the only one still saying it and showing it and telling it. And as soon as someone else does, I'll stop. Man, I'm not forcing you to watch.
Head west toward I-84 West.
Considering the fact that I'm the only one out there showing you this, it's not my presentation that's aggravating you. So just driving by, I was able to spot this and, you know, be able to see that it's obvious plasma burn, but it's only obvious after you've been looking at it for a while. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video here and go down in there and see if I can spot any more unique anomalies. I'll try not to just keep documenting the same thing, but this plasma fire happened at my neighbor's house. The mountain above my house got within, half mile of us. That's to the east. The canyon to the south and 2 canyons to the north of my house. And it's an ongoing thing. It's not something that happened. It's something that's continuing to happen. That's the root source. That's the burn pattern. This one, not so much. Tree's still there and everything. Down here you can see the bases of the trees. The bases of the tree is dark. Likewise, when you look around and you see telephone poles and the bottom of the tree is darker than the top of the telephone pole, you're seeing plasma, the effect of the plasma. Again, right here, there's the root, there's the burn pattern. There must have been one right here. I don't see it, but based on the pattern we've discovered, there's a big root ball under there and under there. But in between the two, you see there's far less burning. There's the root, there's the burn area. And it's the repetition of the pattern that gives us a more solid understanding of what we're looking at. To see it once or twice is okay.
Head west toward I-84 West.
Repeated.
Head west on I-84 West.
Specific discovery is repeatability. And when you see this repetition, you can deduce the cause. These are starting to represent or resemble the fractal pattern that I've referred to. But obviously fire doesn't burn this unevenly. Spots here, spots there, strips here and there.
West on I-84 West.
All right, let's go look for something more visually eye-popping. Give me a sec. Maybe I'll run down there and check those out. These are the ones I like the most because they show. Guaranteed you could dig right there and find the root. But the ones that still have a little bit left are also a good indicator. They show you that it's only around each bush that it scorches the ground like that. How does fire hopscotch across the ground? Through bolts of lightning that come up from the ground and connect to the roots of each individual plant. And the larger the roots, the more electricity it draws. And that's why in these plasma fires, you'll see large logs that are turned to dust with leaves and small twigs right next to them. Because the larger, denser material draws the electricity. And you even have a little unburned strip right there. And then where this one starts is right there. This is also why you'll see that the knots in the wood almost always burn darker than everything around them because there's more fibers there. And those fibers work like copper wire. And it comes from the ground, and each one of those knots is where a branch would stick out. And it follows the densest part of the fibers, which always leads to the knot being black with the unburned area around it. Looks like we have a little discoloration. I don't think that was me. Huh. Anyway. That's the other tell, is that these still have foliage on them that would have burned if this was a normal fire. But it wasn't. And that's why all these scorched earth spots with foliage that would have burned but did not. And I promise as soon as someone else takes up the mantle and starts doing this as well, I'll go do something else. Until then, I'm the only one doing it, and someone's aggravated that I keep doing it. Look deep within yourself. Find the source of that aggravation. Because it's not me. I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. It's the message itself that aggravates you, and the fact that you're one of the only that know also. And I refuse to allow you to forget about it with each one of these that I reproduce. And that's probably what's actually aggravating. Here, it appears this burn is from the roots of that tree, but it's all uphill, nothing downhill from that tree. Granted, this fire may have happened a couple of years ago, like maybe this is this year's leaves, and this fire started or happened like last year. But if that is the case, I've been to plenty of these fires immediately after they happen, and this is exactly what you'll see. Unburned leaves with giant logs turned to dust.
Continue on I-84 West for 127 miles.
Okay, I found something worth going and checking out. This tree right here. See if I can. Yeah. So one thing I noticed from up there is this burn line that runs right here. Burned on the right, unburned on the left. Yeah. So this is just confirmation that everything I've been showing you is in fact plasma fire. When you see that much burning up on this branch to nothing right there. And then the branch below it, same thing. Highly burned on one side, unburned on the other. And then we're gonna go check out the rest of these trees. First I want to examine these branches a little bit more, because you can see on this one, unburned on the top side, highly burned on the bottom. So it goes right here. So you have this branch, this branch, this branch, and they're all doing the same thing, burning out on the bottom side, not on the top. The other thing this type of fire does is scorch the rock. Notice the difference between this and that? You'll notice that on a lot of these rocks. They look black and they're missing the moss. Notice, no moss. See, no moss. Scorched rock, unburnt leaves. Oh, we gotta go check that out for sure. Yeah, the burn line. That goes up this branch. And you see it duplicates the same thing over there. Burnt on the left, unburnt on the right. And the burn line goes up the tree like that. So what I'm seeing here is all these limbs that have actually fallen from the tree above where they snap off. Unburnt on one side, burnt on the other, and then they snap away from the tree and fall down. Here, let me show you a couple more. Here's one hanging. Unburnt on that side. Highly burnt on this side. Fell down from the tree above. Here's another one just hanging here. Here's another one just hanging here. All these limbs are just hanging. Here's one. The whole limb might even keep this one as a magic wand. Yeah, I think this one's going to the magic wand pile, because it has the burn unburn line going all the way up it. Clear up the branch. So yeah, I think that one's a keeper. But I just wanted to point that out, that there's all these branches that are literally just hanging. They appear to have fallen from above, like a fuse when there's too much energy going through it. Ooh, I can see one hanging in the craw. Right there. It's even got the black tip on it, like a fuse when too much electricity goes through it. Ooh, it snaps away from the tree. And falls down into the others. This is a good example of what I'm talking about right there. And it snaps away from the tree and falls to the forest floor, and that's what we're seeing right here as well. Pretty good sized branch. Okay. This whole branch, before I broke it right here, runs down the tree, unburnt on this side, burnt on that side. It's kind of a cool little piece of, just a short piece of magic wand that's been imbued with the plasma. But what I was showing you is that it runs down the whole tree like that. Burnt on one side, unburnt on the other. Like as the electricity comes up from the ground, it draws in one direction or another, and all of them will be burnt on that side, unburnt on this side. I guess I'm pointing at it. Unburnt on this side, burnt on that side. Every one of the trees has the electricity coming up, flowing through them, and going out the same direction. This tree, that tree, they're all burnt on the left, unburnt on the right. So the electricity comes through and then grounds out to, say, maybe the sun, because the sun is in that direction. Sometimes all of them will be burnt on the bottom, unburnt on the top. Sometimes it's vice versa. All of them have the burning on the top of the limb, unburnt on the bottom.